Back to the real story now. New York Times breaking down what it calls the geography of Trumpism. Looking at the 23 states that have held contests so far to see what variables surround the places that support Donald Trump for president. So the strongest predictor of Trump's support of those tested is the high proportion of whites without a high school diploma. Next biggest predictor, respondents who answer American when asked by the Census Bureau about their ancestors. A little more than half of Trump supporters are living in a mobile home, and Trump territory showing stronger support for segregationist George Wallace in the 1968 election than the rest of the country. So while Donald Trump does well with males, does he do as well with females? There's a new attack ad now against him featuring women reading actual Trump quotes about women. Here it is.
You know, it really doesn't matter what they write, as long as you've got a young and beautiful piece of
That must be a pretty picture. You dropping to your knees.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says he spoke with Trump today, offering some advice moving forward.
Yeah, he called me. I assume it was just sort of to reach out, and we had a good conversation, and I mentioned to him that I thought it would be a good idea for him, no matter who starts these violent episodes, to condemn it and discourage it.
Joining me now, Congressman Chris Collins, Republican from New York and a Trump supporter. So it's really interesting to look at this attack ad that's coming out now about women and having these women use phrases that I guess Donald Trump has said about women. Do you think it'll be effective against your candidate?
No, Gretchen, I mean, let's face it, this was Donald Trump, the entertainer, pretty much 10 years ago on a Howard Stern show. What you're seeing is the energy behind Donald Trump as a true leader, whether it's in Florida or whether you've seen it in the other elections already. His support is energized because everyone knows when Donald Trump says America first, he's going to secure our borders and get our jobs back. He is so believable that they look at the Trump organization with women at very top positions. Donald Trump's actions speak way louder than the words when it comes to how he has treated women within his own organization.
Well, that is a great point. I guess what I'm hearing now, though, and my next question to you is, earlier today, one of his spokespersons, Katrina Pearson, said, well, that's when he's a TV character, he says those things. And just now, you as a supporter also said the same thing. And yet, when Ben Carson, in endorsing Trump, said, well, you know, there's really two Donald Trumps, Donald Trump said, no, there's only one Donald Trump. So is that going to be the campaign line going forward, that there really, you know, there's two Donald Trumps? There's the presidential candidate, and there's the TV character.
No, Gretchen, I really think going forward, and hopefully tonight after Donald Trump wins Ohio on top of a double-digit win in Florida, and he will be our presumptive nominee, we will focus all of our energy on defeating Hillary Clinton, the great uniter of the Republican Party. She has her own questions to answer, you know, whether it's Benghazi or whether it's the Hillary and Bill Clinton Foundation or whether it's her emails. So that will be hopefully the shift we'll have. And Donald Trump, I think you're going to see him moving forward, hopefully after tonight, as our presumptive nominee on the issues, because he'll have the nomination locked down.
All right, so one of the big states today, obviously, where he's neck and neck with the Ohio Governor, John Kasich. Kasich today had an interesting press conference where he said that he might have to change his rhetoric about Donald Trump. He also spoke about that anti-Trump ad. Listen to this.
I've been very concerned. I just saw a commercial, I guess it was last night, of these comments that were made about women. I have two daughters. They see this stuff. What do you think they think?
How do you answer that?
Well, there's no question. Hey, I'm from New York, where politics is a blood sport, and I've been in it for about 10 years now. And desperate politicians, desperate candidates do desperate things, and you're seeing everything but the kitchen sink thrown at Donald Trump, which hasn't slowed him down.
Wait a minute. Well, you're saying John Kasich is being desperate by just saying that his two daughters, he doesn't know if he wants them to hear these words about women?
No, it's true that what we're seeing in some of these debates, we wish weren't happening. But in politics today, as the blood sport that it is, these things come out. They come out in primaries. They come out in generals. They come out in city council races, for God's sake. So it is negative advertising. It's desperation politics. It's a sad day that's what politics has dropped to, if you will, in America. And, you know, fasten your seatbelts when it comes to what's going to happen in November.
Yeah, well, that's the understatement of the century, I think. I just want to point out that that Principles PAC that put out that ad, they've spent $5.3 million on air against Trump so far. Not sure it's made a huge difference.
Well, look at what they've spent in Florida.
Yeah,
look
I know.
what they've spent in Florida.
A lot, millions. So maybe it's one of the first years that negative ads don't affect the front runner. Congressman, great to see you. Hope you come back.
Yes, you
Thank
too,
you.
Gretchen. All righty.